I'm Pugs Moran. What do we do here? Well, I'll tell you. We are America's favorite talk radio show that doesn't really care how you voted. We don't. We don't care how you voted. That's not a prerequisite for this year's show. But I will tell you this, if you want deliberately divisive discourse on highly complex global issues, if you want those, and if you want them to be delivered to you by some duplicitous dude whose side hustle is pushing post-apocalyptic provisions on Instagram, there's plenty of those choices out there for you all over the AM radio dial. You can find them. That's not what we do here. We do a different kind of talk radio. So join us, won't you? How do we do it? That's probably what you're asking. Hey, Pugs, how do you do it? Hi, everybody in the chat room. Good day to Byron. Good day to Whitney. To Rhonda, Jeff, Joel. There's plenty of beanbag chairs left in the chat room. So just come on. Pull them together. Form your soul circle. And we'll get to chatting here because that's what this show is about. Every day, Monday through Friday at noon, I try to bring you a whole bunch of things to talk about. I give you topics. This is about headlines. It's about current events. It's about trends. All the things that people are buzzing about out there today. I'm going to give them to you in a nice little neat-to-eat treat. I'm going to run them down. Here's how it works. I give you the headline. Here's what these headlines are saying. I tell you why it's being a headline. And I give you a hot take and we move on. And then I say, oh, look at this. Look what's trending number one. Okay, here's why this is trending number one. And see, we do that. So this is about information. And as I say, we don't go into politics. So today, we're going to talk about the indictment for sure, because that's a big headline. But we don't really do politics through a my team, your team kind of lens. So just come on by. This show, I'll tell you what I love about this show. And this is what I've had people tell me. No, you haven't. Time to introduce my co-host. That's the voice inside my head. He goes by Schizophrenic Me. My entire life he's been in there, and he's been telling me that all my brilliant ideas are terrible and that I'm doomed to failure. And now he's riding shotgun on my stream. So from time to time, he'll chime in. Where were we? See, you interrupted me, and now... Say a dumb thing, get a dumb response. See, that's how he works. So we don't do politics. We don't do divisive politics, but we are going to talk about the indictment. That's, it's trending number one. It's like the thing. So, but what I do like is when people say, shut up, Schizophrenic Me. I love it when people say, your show gives me topics that I can bring up when uncomfortable topics arise. That's right. That's what I want this show to be. So somebody starts going, well, that's because of that Biden, or somebody says something like that, or you're having a nice conversation, and somebody goes, well, that's why they stalled the election. And you know what I mean? And it starts to get weird. And now suddenly it's like people are like, oh, we didn't want to talk about this. I bring you every day a whole bunch of things you can go, yeah, that's great. Did you hear about the Japanese businessman who's selling his sperm? See, that's a story. You don't know what that's about. He's a businessman. He's made a business of selling his sperm. I'm going to talk about that because that's something you could throw out. Whenever the awkward conversations arise, I'm giving you stuff. So that's what we do here on the High Noon Show. First, though, we like to sort of prepare you for what's to come. So before we get into the trending topics of today, what we like to do is bring you up to speed on a little part of the show I call Previously On. And in this case, it would be March the 31st. Previously on March 31st. We go through history. We go through all the interesting things that occurred on this day in history, all the things that shaped this day throughout history. Are there trends? Certain kind of thing happened in 1405, has happened in 1772, has happened in 1948, has happened in 1990. You know what I mean? Come on, I don't discriminate. Come on, Q people. Come on with me. You could probably find some things to have some fun with here on this stream. So we go through all the events of the day previously on. Then we talk about the people who were born, celebrities and whatnot, and we celebrate them and talk about their contributions. Then we move on to the deaths and we mourn them. People die. People, hey, this person died today. Wasn't that sad? But let's celebrate what he did. And we do that. And then, and only then, after we've gone through the history, the births, and the deaths, I think, for me anyway, This is where I start to have an understanding of what March 31st has been. And then we jump into what is actually happening today, okay? That's how we do it. That's how this show works. So if you're ready, let's get started. It is high noon for the 31st day of March, year of our Lord, 2023. March 31st is the 90th day of the year. It says right here, I got it written in front of me today. 207. You have it written in front of you every day. Okay, that's true. And I don't know why I said it that way. I'm being theatrical. Understood, but also be honest. Wasn't that a sweet little tone from schizophrenic me? Let's see. So there's 275 days remaining until the end of the year. So as we like to say around these parts, get them New Year's Eve plans started. On this day in 307, that's right, March the 31st, 307. On this day in 307, after divorcing his wife Minerva, Constantine marries Fausta, the daughter of the retired Roman Emperor Maximum. Okay, so I don't know what any of that means. I don't even care. Here's what I thought was interesting. 307, divorce! They had divorce in 307. There's no divorce in the Bible. Divorce predated the Bible. Actually, is there divorce in the Bible? I don't know. You know me. Nah, not the Bible scholar. Some of you may think of me. None of you think I'm a Bible scholar. On this day in 1521, Ferdinand Magellan and 50 of his men came ashore to present-day Philippines in the first Catholic Mass in the region. Okay, all right. So begins colonial Catholicism's campaign of, plague of the mind. Where it all started. Started today. Magellan lands on, some tribal society in the Philippines and says, you know how you've been thinking one way about everything? Yeah, well, here, have I got a bridge to sell you? And also now the Philippines are just filthy with Catholics. It's just Catholics. They did that. Was that Magellan who did that? Where'd Magellan go? I don't even know where Magellan went. Look at this, because I'm an American, right? I know Columbus, he came here. Then we like him. Magellan didn't come here, right? Magellan didn't come here. Magellan went everywhere else. And so, I don't know anything about him. Other than, like I've said it to my kid, when he was a little kid, hey, where you going, Magellan? But I don't really know what that means. It's a flaw in my system. On this day in 1854, Commodore Matthew Perry signs the Convention of Kanagawa with the Tokugawa Shogunate, opening the ports of Shimoda and Hakodate to the American trade. I don't know what any of that. I kept saying names, hoping that one of them would go, oh, I think that's in the Caribbean. I don't have any idea. Oh, I think that's by Samoa. No idea where any of these things are. 1854, Commodore Matthew Perry signs the convention. First of all, I didn't even know Matthew Perry was in the Commodores. Well, you know what? Come on. I thought that was pretty good, actually. On second thought, where is Shimoda? I don't know. Anyway, on this day in 1889, the Eiffel Tower is officially opened. If I'm being honest, Eiffel Tower, I've seen more impressive cell tower configurations. Eiffel Tower, really? The French are known for their style. What is that? Minimalism? What's going on with that thing? It is a tower. We've crazy. I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, and we have power line towers that look a lot like the Eiffel Tower. I mean, just a lot like them. Not quite as big. Granted, you've made a really big power line tower. But anyway, it was on this day in 1889 the Eiffel Tower officially became a thing. On this day in 1906, the Intercollegiate Athletic Association of the United States is established. And they soon changed their name to the NCAA. Ladies and gentlemen, happy birthday, NCAA. Oh, you've brought us so much joy, so much consternation, so much unnecessary pain. But again, so much joy. I don't know. People hate that. People hate the NCAA because it's an institution. That's what that's about. We're programmed to hate institutions. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's not a good thing. I don't know. I just know all that got kind of squirrely when, I started being told not to trust my doctor. I'm like, what? Come on, man. Dude gave birth to me, or delivered me, that kind of thing. Institutions. I believe that there is a certain wealth to be gained, both in security and in economic prosperity, sure. In some healthy belief in institutions. But I'm a crazy person. On this day in 1918, daylight savings time goes into effect in the United States for the first time. Daylight savings time, 1918. There's a lot of people that are passionate about this issue, I'm like, I don't really, daylight savings time needs to go away. I don't even notice it most of the time. You know how I know daylight savings time comes on? I'm driving in my car, and someone on the radio says what time it is or something, and then I look at my car radio and go, oh, I didn't turn my clock back or move it. That's typically how I go, oh, that's right, that was last night. Oh, that's right. I don't know. It's just daylight savings time is just not one of these issues that I can get all wrapped up in. It doesn't bother me. I'll tell you this much. I remember as a college kid loving it when the bars would stay open an extra hour. Dude, we're going to touch daylight savings. That was fun. But honestly now, I'm not a farmer, so, it doesn't really affect me other than, an inconvenience of 1 hour. And you know what? Whatever. What would the difficulty be? What would it cost? If we got rid of it, right? Let's get rid of it. If we got rid of it. Because we already have this apparatus and this structure, and we're all conditioned to expect it. So what is going to happen? Well, I'm going to be able to sleep in normal time. I'm not going to have to get up. I don't know. Is that the complaint? What is the complaint? Is there bigger concerns? Probably. You're the most productive son of a bitch I've ever heard. Okay, thank you, schizophrenic me. I don't know. I don't get the whole daylight savings time thing. I get it's interesting, But if we're sitting around, and that's like something that you like get passionate about. Like, you know what? They got to get rid of that daylight savings. You're a boring person. That's not a great thing to be passionate about. Tell me about your love of the Frisco Rough Riders. Let's talk about that. That's interesting. That's daylight savings time. I don't even know what to say about that. It's probably more complicated than I understand. So, on this day in 1930, the Motion Picture Production Code is instituted, imposing strict guidelines on the treatment of sex, crime, religion, and violence in film. This has put in effect for the next 38 years. So 1968 is when we started seeing movie star boob. Yeah, that's what this is about, dude. This is why we don't see any old-timey movie star boob. This is why there's no black and white boob. There might be, look, I'm sure there were some black and white booby movies made and whatever. But what I'm saying is, you know what I mean? This is why, trying to think of who. Okay, so take someone like Mae West, right? Mae West was a big old hoe. That was her whole brand. That was her whole, come on up and see me sometimes. I'm a prostitute, right? That was her whole bit. That was her brand. And she owned it. She was an empowered woman. Look, you could look at Mae West in two ways. You can like, she was exploiting herself for the benefit of men. You can do that whole thing. Or you can look at her like, no, man, she was a bitch in a male-dominated world who took the balls of, the people, her oppressors, and she used what she had, man. That's it. That's a smart woman. So, there's two ways to look at her. But we never saw her naked. Mae West never did like a bang scene. We didn't see that stuff. We didn't see, and she would have. My point is, she would have. She was like the Pam Anderson of her day. She didn't have any boundaries. If it was something that was cool, she'd have been up for it. Joan Crawford. We never seen Betty Davis. We never seen Betty Davis naked. Why haven't we seen Betty Davis naked? You would think we've seen Meryl Streep naked. Silkwood. Probably other things. We've seen Meryl Streep naked. We have seen Jessica Lange naked. We've seen all the great actresses of the generation that came into film in 1968. We've seen all of them naked. So it stands to reason. Somebody owes me a nude Joan Crawford. I need to see Joan Crawford nude in a film. No, I really don't. But isn't that interesting? For like 38 years, starting in 1930. That's why we don't have any black and white boob movies. Let's see, 1931, a transcontinental and western airliner crashes near Bossier, Kansas, killing 8. This was in 1931. Why does it get a mention? You know, I don't do plane crashes anymore. I used to do all the plane crashes, not anymore. This one gets mentioned because Knute Rockne was on board. This killed Knute Rockne. This is the plane crash that killed Knute Rockne in 1931. In 1995, Selena is murdered by her fan club president, Yolanda Saldivar, at the Days Inn in Corpus Christi, Texas. So this is interesting to me. This was the world before social media, before not only global connectivity, which we have now. I mean, I'm a middle-aged man, and I know, like, I can name more than one. I can name a Korean pop band, right? So why is it that I am now why have I been exposed to Korean pop? Because we now live in a global connectivity. Everything is different. The way we are exposed to things is just much different. So I was working in media, and I was I was a young man. I think I was 24 years old or something like that. When did Selena die? Or when did the Selena thing happen? 95. So I was 25, 24 years old when Selena was murdered. And I was a producer in radio. I was very plugged in. I worked in the newsroom. I pretty much knew everything. And then Selena died, and I remember it came across on the wire. We didn't touch it. In Chicago, we didn't touch it. Nobody knew who it was. We're like, that must be like when you flip around the channels and you get to those Spanish language stations, and there's like that guy in the bee costume. You know, that guy. Is that like what she's famous for? Because that wasn't anything that we were going to cover. And then it was the next day. I was coming into work, and I was at the 7-Eleven, and they were putting up the New People magazines. And this was the day after Selena had been shot. They're putting up the New People magazines, and it's a special edition with Selena on the cover, and it's and I'm looking at this. And then I look down at the headlines in the newspapers, the Chicago Tribune, the Chicago Sun-Times, screaming Selena had been. I had never heard of Selena before. Now, what I'm saying is, had she been a thing today, I'd know of course I'd know who she is. I mean, look, why do I know who June Cook is? Or Cook June, or whatever. He's like lead singer of one of the Korean boy bands. I see him all the time. Why? Because we now exist in a connected world, a more connected world. Is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. I think that Korean pop band, I don't know what they're called. Wait, what's the one? Is it Dead End Kids? I know one of them. There's a cool ass song. I know that I know that there is one Korean pop band song that I've heard. Not sure by whom, but I like it. And I never had that experience with Selena, so I didn't know who Selena was. And only to find out, I come here to Texas a couple of years later, and it's like, geez, my God, she was massive. Selena is a thing. Interesting. As big as she was, and she was globally massive, her reach didn't really cross over into white bread America. It didn't, and that's a shame. That's a shame, because she might. I mean, who knows if she had existed in a different era, what her reach would have been like. Little 12-year-old white girls in high-end suburbs with Selena posters on the wall. That wasn't a thing. Now, that was come to learn, that was a thing in Latino households and in Texas households, Southern households, not only with Spanish-speaking communities, but in Spanish-speaking communities, just so ubiquitous. She was everywhere, and nowhere outside of it. My God, that could also be seen. I can tell you honestly that growing up in the 1980s, I had almost zero exposure to Latinos. Very little. I thought Taco Bell was like the apex of Mexican food, and all that changed in the 90s at some point. Like at some point in the 90s, and this would be after Selena, her passing, that Mexican culture, Tex-Mex even, I guess. I think Tex-Mex was already a thing, but it was seen as exotic where I was from in Chicago. But Mexican culture, real Mexican culture, that really started to sort of cross over and be embraced and beloved, I mean, because everything is so good. But it is interesting. I wonder if there's any connection there. I wonder if the attention that was brought on Latin American culture, really for the first time, with the death of Selena. I mean, 2020 is doing things. They never did that before. The closest they came was maybe the suicide of Freddie Prinze. But with Selena, all of a sudden, there was like a national spotlight on Latin culture. I just wonder if there's any sort of, correlation over time. The way societies change and embrace and attitudes are. I wonder if maybe the empathy and the love and the outpouring and all that stuff that came in the wake of the assassination of Selena, I wonder if that actually had some good effects on Latin culture, as far as having it cross over. I mean, maybe they didn't want it to cross over. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be speaking like that. But I know that I'm glad that I know that there are things more than tacos and the bee guy, right? I mean, that was pretty much all we were exposed to. So anyway, there you go. That was a sad day. On this day in 1998, Netscape realizes Mozilla, or releases Mozilla. I don't know what that is, but apparently that was a big thing. I saw a couple of people. Mozilla was trending earlier today. Frank says Selena was big enough to play the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. Mama Beller tells me that Hedy Lamarr, my girl. I love Hedy Lamarr. Oh, she's like the apex woman of all time. She had a nude scene? She went swimming nude at a film? Okay, all right, wait a second. Wait a second. I would like to throw a disclaimer out here. Sally is saying, here, we'll put it up for all to see. Sally says Hedy Lamarr went swimming nude in a film. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I am aware of that. I am aware that she actually did. Hedy Lamarr did do a bunch of very risque scenes. However, and so did a number of actresses back in that period. However, these were not American actresses, and these were not American films that were subjected to that code, that Hollywood code that was instituted in 1930. So German directors and Italian directors and French directors throughout this time period were making movies where you could see black and white boob. That's very interesting. I had forgotten about that. Thank you for that little tidbit. Jeff Ballard, he knows about Hedy Lamarr, the smartest, hottest woman ever in Hollywood. She's a badass. She's a badass lady, man. What we're doing here? Look, you could look it up. I'll tell you. Next time you have to move your bowels, right? Instead of playing Angry Birds or whatever the hell it is you play, go to Wikipedia and just put Hedy Lamarr and just read this woman's Wikipedia page. I'm telling you, you're going to be like, what? How did we not elect her president? Oh, because she wasn't born here. That's why. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like, geez. Let's do some birthdays. Let's talk about some birthdays. Some people who were born under this world on this day. Okay, so first of all, born on this day in 1685, it's Johann Sebastian Bach. I will ask again, is he the bum 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 bum, bum 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 bum? Is he that guy? Because I'll be honest with you, I don't know much about classical music. I don't know. Here's what I think. Like if I was on a game show and they asked me that question, who is this? Is this Mozart, Bach, Beethoven, Brahms? Well, first of all, I'd kick out Brahms because I more associate that with an ice cream store than I do classical music. So because of that, he can't possibly be the guy that did da-da-da-da. I would guess Beethoven. But on this day, Bach was, what did Bach do? Does Bach have an ear weasel? A song that we know, like, oh, that's Bach. Probably. He probably does. We just take the song for granted because, a lot of classical music is ubiquitous throughout society. You walk through an airline terminal, you hear it in the background of television commercials, and we hear it everywhere. We hear it in a car, like a cab we get in, whatever it is. We hear it. It's ubiquitous. So, maybe we do know some Bach songs. We just didn't get a name attached to it. Like Beethoven Symphony No. 5. That's what that is. Oh, my God. Look, we just took a walk. I opened up my brain. And I felt that, da-da-da-da-da. I will bet my child's college money that that's what that is. All right. That is not a legal wager. That is not. Born on this day, excuse me. Born on this day in 1924, Leo Buscaglia, American author and academic. Now, Leo Buscaglia, I don't know if you guys remember him. You guys from the 80s like I am? Leo Buscaglia would not have done well in this era. Leo Buscaglia's whole thing, man, was hugs. Long, warm. You know, the world would just be better if we were just cool to each other. Come here, give me a hug, man. Come on, let's hug it out. Hug it out. That Ari thing from Entourage. That's a Leo Buscaglia deal. Leo Buscaglia was a big hugger. He encouraged you, before you got into an adversarial situation, have a big hug beforehand. He was a big hugger. Hugs don't fly in 2023, y'all. It don't, as we'll see coming up in the trends of the day. Hugs don't fly. Ooh, Leo Buscaglia. I'd like him still to be alive just to hear all the Me Too's that would come out about him. Is he still alive? He might still be alive. No, he died. He died in 1998. Born on this day in 1927, Cesar Chavez. Cesar Chavez, American labor union leader and activist. Cesar Chavez, here's what I'll tell you. He is a guy who millions of white people drive on streets named for him every day and have no idea what he did. No idea. He was a labor union guy. He was quite instrumental in the labor reforms in this country that took place. And that's why you drive on his streets. Born on this day in 1934, Shirley Jones, American actress and singer. Don't be sleeping on Shirley Jones, yo. She is an all-time badass lady, too. Shirley Jones is a badass lady. Shirley Jones put up with some nonsense. She put up with, first of all, Shirley Jones. And now, look, I know you're thinking, the mother on the Partridge Family? Yeah, I know that's what you're thinking. I don't know if you've ever gone back as a grown man and reinvestigated that show, but let me tell you, whereas I used to think the Susan Day character was the good get in that household, it ain't. Shirley Jones is by far the hottest member of the Partridge Family. Good Lord, she was cute. Holy balls. And then you go back and you see she'd done a whole bunch of movies in the 60s and stuff, and you're like, oh my God, she's adorable. And then she went through some stuff. She was like her husband, Jack Cassidy, was a real piece of work. He was like a total drunk and an abuser, and she went through some stuff. And she took the kids, Sean Cassidy and David Cassidy, and it's just a mess. It's a mess. And then, you know how Shirley Jones settled it? She married an ugly man. That's what she did. She married like not Marty Feldman, Marty Allen. She married Marty Allen, an ugly man. She was a babe. She was like a Hollywood good get. She would be like landing, I don't know, who would it be like landing today? I don't even know. I'm so out of touch with, modern Hollywood. But she was a good get. And when she was done with the nonsense with the handsome Jack Cassidy and all that stuff, when she was done with that, she settled down with an ugly man. And she stayed with the ugly man until both their deaths. I think the ugly man died first. But she stayed with the ugly man. It's a lesson to you hot chicks out there. Choose ugly. Way nicer, way better life. When you're done running around and trying to be the center of attention, choose ugly. Lower your standards. Just lower them, okay? Help. Also born on this day, 1935, Herb Alpert. That was Herb Alpert. Herb Alpert played the trumpet. And he was head of a group called Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. Every game show, every game show from the 70s had a I don't even know if that's an actual game show song, but I think I just wrote one. That's how easy it was. And Herb Alpert made a freaking mint doing that stuff. A mint. Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. They were big. I think they do that. Don't they do that song? And I can't play. Look, the other day I played a bunch of Bill Withers because I love him. And now that show's not available. And I know, I kind of knew that going in, but whatever. So I'd love to play some examples of Herb Alpert and how he fooled the world into making him a billionaire. I'd love to do that, but man, but I think he did that song, what's the song? Boom, boom, boom. I think that's like his big song. I think that was a hit. Imagine having a hit with that. Well, ask Chuck Mangione. Yeah, I can do another tuba song. I can do another trumpet song. What was Chuck Mangione? Remember for like one summer in 1978, we all lost our minds and went, let's just listen to a Muppet character play the horn for an... Remember that? People, Chuck Mangione sold out. What song did Chuck Mangione do? Anyway, that song, isn't that song? I think that's a pretty good rendition of whatever it was that Chuck Mangione captivated us all with in, summer of 1977. Anyway, happy birthday, Herb Alpert. Oh, the other thing about Herb Alpert that I really should talk about, burying the lead. Herb Alpert wasn't just that guy. Although I do think it's funny that he got himself based on being that guy, he got himself into a position to be Herb Alpert of A&M Records. We've all heard of A&M Records. The A in A&M stands for Alpert, and the M in A&M stands for money, because that guy just basically crapped gold bricks. Okay, the M doesn't stand for money, but... born on this day in 1940, Barney Frank, American lawyer and politician. Barney Frank. Now, I got a funny Barney Frank story for you. I have back when Barney Frank was, he was famous because he was like the first openly gay congressman, something like that, right? Wasn't that the deal? And we had a friend, Dan, who was on our radio show in Chicago at the time. And he used to always say, that man ain't gay. He's doing a bit. Not on the air, but like off the air. Like he legitimately, as a gay man, would look at Barney Frank and go, he ain't gay. That he is not gay. He's doing a bit. He is the worst gay man ever if he's not. Happy birthday to you, Barney Frank, born on this day in 1940. Born on this day in 1942, Hugh McCracken, American session guitarist famous for... Hugh McCracken, he's one of those Hollywood session guys. Bigger fan of his brother, Phil. Phil, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, Phil. That's what we do here. Born on this day in 1943, how about some Christopher Walken? Christopher Walken draft? No, we're not doing a Christopher Walken draft. We might do let me tell you something, Christopher Walken enthusiasts who tuned into this stream God, I'm so old, who are on this stream today because, you thought, it's Chris Walken's birthday. I'm sure old Pugs is going to deliver a Chris Walken draft. Drafts are when we celebrate an individual and then we draft their movies in order, like what's the number one pick, what's that kind of thing. No Chris Walken draft. You know what? Why? Because Chris Walken, you got some explaining to do, man. Chris Walken, you are not going to get off this planet without explaining everything. I mean, everything, dude. Come on. Everything that you know about what went down on that boat the night Natalie Wood drowned. You were there, Chris Walken. You know if she was fighting with Robert Wagner. You know what the mood was. You've never really given a full account of all this. You've never really did Chris Walken. All I'm saying is, Chris, it's your birthday. You're crazy fun. Good in so much. Certainly deserving of a draft, but you're not getting one. Consider this tough love, Chris Walken. Explain really what was happening on the boat the night Natalie Wood died. And then, born on this day in 1945. Oh, man. Here's a dude. This is a real dude. Gabe Kaplan. Gabe Kaplan. Cocktail, Mr. Cocktail. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Welcome back. Gabe Cotter, man, so instrumental in my youth. I loved Welcome Back, Cotter. Oh my God. One of my all-time favorite shows, Mr. Cotter. I love that show. Gabe Kaplan. So here's Gabe Kaplan's deal. Gabe Kaplan. And why I say he's a dude, not because he's Cotter. No, that's not it. Gabe Kaplan. So Gabe Kaplan's just a dude. He's a comic. He's busting his ass, doing comedy stuff throughout the 60s. He's kind of clean. He got a few TV appearances, all that kind of stuff. Starts to pick up a little bit of steam there in the mid-70s, running around with, the likes of Freddie Prinze and, people like that. And, so he gets noticed, and they give him a show. They gave Gabe Cotter, we're going to do this show. And I guess it was based on his real experience. He was a substitute teacher who went back to school. We talked yesterday about all of the comedians who were elevated to superstar status virtually overnight by having hit sitcoms. We talked about Paul Reiser. We talked about Ray Romano. We talked about Seinfeld. Gabe Kaplan was really the first. I mean, I guess if we want to parse it, we would say that maybe in modern terms, Freddie Prinze was the first with Chico and the Man. But that was short-lived. He died. It was tragic. Welcome Back, Kotter was a massive hit. John Travolta came from Welcome Back, Kotter. That was a very big hit. So Gabe Kaplan got this shot. He made his big bag of money. And then, he just started to look around at Hollywood and he went, I got a big bag of money. Gabe Kaplan is a dude who in 82, 83, whenever it was, when he walked away from being a celebrity, maybe later than that, maybe, whatever it was. But he was a dude who said, my bag of money is big enough for me for the rest of my life. This was great. This was fun. But you know what? You know what I'm going to do? And you know what Gabe Kaplan did? Byron probably knows, went on to be a poker player. He's like a degenerate poker playing, gambling dude, man. That's what he did. He went for years and years. Gabe Kaplan became a very, to my understanding, and I don't, because I can't name 5 poker players, right? But I could name Gabe Kaplan because I remember that there was a lot of stuff about, didn't he have a show? I think he used to have a poker show that he hosted. Anyway, so I met Gabe Kaplan once, and when you meet famous people, right? And I didn't meet him as him being a famous person. I just met him. There was an opening of a bar and restaurant in Chicago. And it just so happened that he was an investor in the place and he was friends with one of the guys that was opening it, which was interesting because this was the point in the career where Gabe Kaplan was a big poker playing gambler. And we all knew that the place was being operated by the Chicago outfit, which is the mob. So I was like, Gabe Kaplan's at the opening of this mob. May have been coincidence. A lot of people were invested in the place. But anyway, I got to meet him and I got to talk to him, and I didn't get to talk to him as, hey, you're Cotter. I just got to talk to him as, oh, you're one of the investors here? Yeah, cool. He was just a genuinely nice guy. And the conversation did kind of get around to, I grew up, it's kind of cool for me because, you're Mr. Cotter. And he laughed and he was very appreciative of that. And then from that point, because I hadn't been, what was it like when you first met John Travolta? You know what I mean? Because I wasn't like that, because it just started out as a normal conversation. I think we had and it didn't go on for long, 5 minutes, and nice to meet you, take care, that kind of thing. But I came away going, holy crap, that guy for a period of time in the 70s was like the biggest star in the world. And he just walked away with his bag of money and said, you know what, maybe I'll open a pizza place. I mean, he didn't do that, but I just always admired that. Because Gabe Kaplan could have done a whole lot of stuff, man. Gabe Kaplan was big. I'll tell you the best representation of who Gabe Kaplan is. You can go to YouTube. You remember the old show, Superstars, or Battle of the Network Stars, or whatever it was, where all of the TV stars from your favorite show on NBC would compete against your favorite shows on CBS and ABC. It was a very cool thing. Can't do it anymore for any number of reasons, contracts and exclusivities and all that. But whatever, it was a great thing. Best example of who Gabe Kaplan is just Google search Battle of the Network Stars, Gabe Kaplan. Every year he was made ABC's captain. And every year he comported himself exactly the way a leader of men should. There was one incident where he gets into a fight with Robert Conrad. Remember Robert Conrad from Bob Black Sheep? Well, Robert Conrad was NBC. He was on Team NBC. Gabe Kaplan was the captain of Team ABC. Now, Team NBC cheated. Robert Conrad, tough guy actor, cheated. And he was trying to intimidate everybody on ABC's team. And Gabe Kaplan, Mr. Kata, he like jumps right in the middle of it and goes bow to bow with Robert Conrad. And he's like, you don't scare me. You don't scare me. And so it was determined that the beef would be settled by a 50-yard dash between Robert Conrad, tough guy, and Gabe Kaplan. Gabe Kaplan's not saying anything. Robert Conrad talking crap. I'm an athlete, boy. What are you, theater guy? I'm an athlete. Gabe Kaplan smoked his ass. Just smoked his ass. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Gabe Kaplan. Find him on YouTube. Battle of the Network Stars, Gabe Kaplan. Excuse me. Born on this day in 1948, Al Gore. Al Gore. All right, there you go, Vice President of the United States, inventor of the internet. Born on this day in 1940. I always push back on that because that's not what he said. It was taken out of context, and now everyone just believes that that's what he said. So fine, whatever, it's funny, and he goes with it. Born on this day in 1948. Look at that, umbilical cousin, or what do we call it? Umbilical cousins? Umbilical twins. Umbilical twins, Rhea Perlman and Al Gore. Rhea Perlman, Carla from Cheers. We love Carla. We love Rhea Perlman. Rhea Perlman's awesome. I learned something really disturbing about twins recently, and this is kind of like maybe what would have happened if Al Gore and Rhea Perlman. No, never mind. I'm not going to go into it. What if you had twins and one was Al Gore, and let's just talk. See, I don't want to go into it. I'll tell you what, I won't say it. Here's what I'll say. I learned recently that there's something that goes on with twins where when they're in utero, one of the twins might consume or drink, as it was termed, like really important fluids that are intended for the other twin. So that when these twins are born, like one twin is like handsome and like talented and charming, and the other one is like, got disabilities. Oh my God! I didn't know that was a thing. What an incredibly tragic thing. So there's a thing where a twin will drink like important brain juice for the other twin, and then when they're born, the other twin is like mentally handicapped, and you know what though? And I don't know that this is the case, and I'm not a doctor, and this is where my mind went, innocently enough. Have you ever seen Ashton Kutcher and his brother? Ashton Kutcher has a twin brother. Ashton Kutcher's twin brother has some real disabilities. I mean, I don't know what is the proper way to say it, because, I want to be respectful. So, back in the day we used to say, oh, he's retarded or whatever, but you got Ashton Kutcher, who's a genius, who's good looking, who's talented. He really is a genius. He is a business genius. This guy has made probably 100 times more money, more dollars than he ever made acting. I mean, he invested early in Uber. He was one of those guys. Just crazy stuff. He's a smart guy. And his poor brother. I wonder if that's what happened. I don't know. Moving on. What a dark thought. Angus Young was born on this day in 1955. Angus Young, Scottish-Australian guitarist, songwriter, AC/DC. Come on! Born on this day in 1971, Ewan McGregor. Ewan McGregor, Scottish actor. We know him, right? He's Star Wars movies. I love Ewan McGregor. I love everything Ewan McGregor's ever done. Ewan McGregor draft? Nah, I don't want to do any drafts. We got a lot of stuff to talk to today. We got a lot of stuff to get to. Some deaths very quickly. J.P. Morgan, rich guy. Don't know what he did, just that he was a rich guy. Dead on this day in 1980, Jesse Owens, American icon. Jesse Owens passed on, American icon, one of the greats. Born on this day in 1986, dead on this day in 1986. Let's slow it down. I'm looking at the clock and I'm getting concerned. Dead on this day in 1986, Jerry Paris. Jerry Paris. Do you know who Jerry Paris is? Jerry Helper from the Dick Van Dyke Show. You know Millie and Jerry? They live next door. Okay, but that's not the only reason why I find cause to mention him here. Jerry Paris was also He directed everything, man. After he worked on Dick Van Dyke Show and played Jerry Helper, the next door neighbor, every television show you saw in the 70s and 80s said directed by Jerry Paris. I mean, all the way through Friends. I think Jerry Paris was like the primary director of Friends. Jerry Paris, TV director extraordinaire. Dead on this day in 1993. Here's a big one, huh? Brandon Lee. Remember when this went down? On the set of The Crow. Brandon Lee, son of Bruce Lee, killed in a Alec Baldwin-style incident. Who knows? They were priming Brandon Lee to be a movie star. They were going to make him a thing. Tragically. Let's see here. Dead on this day in 1995. We already talked about it. Selena, American singer-songwriter. Selena, dead on this day in 1995 in Corpus Christi. Dead on this day in 2019, Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Hussle's that hip-hop guy who I'd never heard of, who apparently was kind of like a Selena situation for me. I was unfamiliar with Nipsey Hussle until he died, and people were like, he's huge. I'm like, was he really huge? I mean, Kanye's huge. I mean, was Nipsey Hussle huge? I don't know. Anyway, that was, 3-4 years ago now? That doesn't seem like it's that long ago. All right, let's get started here, folks. Wow, now do we feel like we understand previously on March the 31st? I do, because I do. I feel good about it. I feel I understand. I feel I'm not going to be blindsided by anything that's revealed in today's headlines, hot topics, trends, current events, all that stuff. I feel good. Feel ready to go. I'm sweating really bad, though. I'm going to need to take a quick break right here. I'm going to step over and I'm going to have to refill my fluids because I'm drinking like a pig. So give me a second here. You guys in the chat room, talk amongst yourselves. And I'll be right back. Okay, now, look at this. Just in the last 10 seconds, we have a torrential downpour occurring here at the beautiful 1%er compound in Highland Park, Texas. Can you hear that? Can you hear that? What is that? Is that rain? Oh man, it looks bad out right now, you guys. Where are you guys at? The sky is like totally black. I mean, you can't tell because I got a light shining on me. Man. All right, very exciting. Let's see if we can rock these headlines and stuff through a tornado warning. That might be cool. Hold on a second. So what I wanted to mention was the Pugs and Parker show, which is the stream we do at 9 p.m. It's myself, James Parker. E joins us. We have a lot of guests on, especially recently. The Pugs and Parker show, 9 p.m. Monday through Thursday, 9 p.m. Central Time, every Monday through Thursday. I already said that. We're going out. We're doing an outing tonight. And it's not an outing. We're going out for a reason. And we decided, hey, if anybody wants to come join us, we're going to be at Roller Town in Selena tonight. This is Ben and Skin's place. Our friends from over at the Freak 97.1. First of all, I mean, we think it's probably good that we start. We are such a supporter of that format, and in any way, shape, or form that we can do to help elevate that format. We should go. We should support. I mean, back when I was doing the Pugs and Kelly show, I really appreciated when we did things and people came out. And I'm on the other side of that now, and it's a station that we all really like. And so we're like, let's go meet there. Let's do it there. Why wouldn't we do it there? We're like, yeah, let's do it there. And they're having something. They're having something tonight. Some kind of block party. We're bringing our kids, you know. It's not work. It's not anything like that. It's just a hang. So if you want to stop by, we're going to be up there. We're probably going to be up there between... I don't know, man. People are going like 6 o'clock. I don't see 6 o'clock being a thing. I see us up there 7 o'clock tonight, you know. We'll probably get up there around 7 o'clock. So if it's not too inconvenient for you and you want to hang out with us, and the reason we say this is because, man, we get the same people in the chat room. You know what I mean? We're all, and I know many of you are from out of market, but some of you are from in market. Some of you are old ass friends from like 23 years ago. And we've never done this yet. And we've been doing these streams now for a year and a half. And we've never really gone anywhere together, or at least where we've said where we're going to go and invited people to come on out and hang with us. So if you want to do that, that's going to be an option for you tonight. But we're bringing our kids, you know, so it's not going to be like a crazy night at Dodgeball back in 2005. You know what I mean? We're going to have fun. We're going to have fun. There will be cocktails, you know, but I'm just saying. It'll be grown-up adult fun, Roller Town in Selena. So we're going to go up there tonight, you know, unless we got some weather issues. Is that a very real concern at this point? I don't know. I really do not know. All right. So let's get into what all the buzz is about for today. Oh, Barney says, what sort of things are there to do there? I got to sell this thing to the family. Barney, brother, I don't know, man. I don't know. I've never been there. I mean, they got a website. You know, go to the website. Roller Town, Selena, Texas. Roller Town. Yeah, I mean, I wish I knew more. I don't know more. Here's what I know. I know that it's a venture that was started by Ben and Skin. People who we highly regard as friends and allies in this complete bullshit radio world. And we've been wanting to go. We've been wanting to check it out. I mean, to be truthful with you, what I believe, what they've accomplished with these roller towns and all that stuff is incredibly inspiring to me. It's incredibly. I mean, they've really, because, you know, I look at missed opportunities and I go, oh, you know what? In 2007, I could have opened a bar, you know, but I didn't. And they kept their eye on the ball. And I admire that. And I want to go see what they've built because they've been very supportive and they've been very, very nice to all of us. So we're doing that tonight. That's what we're doing. Adam says they make decent to good beer. Okay. Well, I'll let you know. I'm not a big beer guy, though. Adam, I know you're a big beer guy. I'm not a big beer guy, you know. Like, I'll go there and want a Miller Lite, and I'll be mad because they don't have a Miller. You know what I mean? So I'm not a big beer guy. But I will sip on whatever. I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. It looks nice. It looks cool. I'm hearing all about it, so we're going to go see it. It is really bad out, though. So, you know, guys, here is what I would suggest. Here is what I promise to you. You know, depending on weather, you know, we're not going to go all the way up there if it's like thunderstorming all day. So follow me on Facebook. You can follow the show if you're listening right here. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter, Pugs Moran on Twitter. I'll be sure and update. Okay. Whether or not, like, you know, it's like, oh, we're not going. Like, if we're not, I'll tell you what, here's what I'll do. If we're not going, I'll let y'all know we're not going, and I'll let you all know before 5 o'clock. Maybe 6 o'clock. I don't know. It depends. Because then, you know, I'm like, well, what if we start driving there and it's really bad weather and we decide to turn around? I'm like, yeah, you're right. Well, then you're going to have to decide to turn around yourself, too. If that's... So, anyway, can you hear this? I mean, seriously. Let's see if we can even look out the window. I mean, it's really coming down. I can't turn the camera any more than that, but it's really coming down now. There we go. Gotta make sure my boy Jeff is right. Oh, look at Jeff's beard. Sometimes I stroke it. It makes me feel better. Look at stroking. I'm stroking Jeff's beard. That's Jeff. He's been missing. We miss Jeff. We don't know what happened to Jeff. I mean, you know, we miss Jeff. All right, let's get into the trends for today. Are you ready? Oh, God. Can you tell I'm like putting this off? Because indictment, we got to do Trump indictment, Trump indictment. Okay. Let's talk about this. I don't know what to say about it. I mean, dude's got like, okay, so let me just process. We all know you're not coming here because it's like, wait, what? What did he say? Trump got indicted? I have to assume that some of you have some form of working knowledge about this. You've heard whatever. There's a number of different questions that need to be answered here. You know, it's very tricky. Like, first of all, I'm asking myself, do I think he did something shady? And I'm like, yeah, I do. I totally think he did some shit. Dude, look at that's a shade. The dude is a shade machine. Of course he did. Do I think that this is hyper politicized and maybe driven by political motivations? Maybe on the left? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. But that doesn't change the first fact that he did shady shit, man. I mean, it's an own goal, right? I mean, that's how I look at this whole thing. It's an own goal. They put Capone away for tax evasion. And when I say tax evasion, there's some thunder. Have you ever delved into that? I mean, you know, tax evasion is just the overarching thing. It was a misfiling. It was a simple mistake. It wasn't even like it was all done properly. It was just, they caught Capone. That's how this government goes after you. Now, do I think he did something illegal? Well, yeah, and that's just not me going, I think he did something illegal. No, that's me going, we already have this case criminally adjudicated in Michael Cohen. We know that it was illegal. It was already deemed illegal. We know it's illegal because that's what Michael Cohen, okay? So we know it's not even a question of whether or not it's already been adjudicated. A dude went to prison for it. So now you got the former president. Do I think he did something wrong? Yeah, I think he did something wrong. Do I think they could have overlooked it? Like, yeah, probably. This kind of thing has probably been overlooked for the elite, for the powerful, for, you know, throughout the history of America. So sure, they could have overlooked it. But here's the problem. They went hard after Cohen. And it was Trump's own Justice Department that went hard after Cohen. Trump's own hand-picked. Remember, Trump had his own hand-picked U.S. attorney down there in Manhattan. He cleaned out the Southern District when he came in, and he put his own people in there. His hand-picked people went after Michael Cohen for these very same charges. I mean, this isn't any sort of political spin. This is just the historic record of how this has unfolded. So his own people went after him. So they at one point believed that there was something shady about what Michael Cohen did. Now, how is Trump, knowing all of these things as historic fact, how is the Trump side answering this today? Well, what they're saying is, what they're still clinging to is that Trump is saying it never happened, that he never hooked up with Stormy Daniels. He's still claiming to that. Even though somebody already went to jail for something that hasn't happened. So it's very confusing, and it's very difficult to, with a clear conscience, not look at this and go, well, yeah, he probably did something shady, and yeah, it's politically driven, but he gave them an opportunity. You can't do that. If you're going to be, if you're going to be adversarial in any kind of like highly explosive environment like politics, like national politics, if you're going to be a troublemaker and you're going to, poke the bear and all that shit, you better be completely clean because the machine will come for you. And the machine came for Capone and they got him for misfiling taxes. Criminal number one, America's most wanted. That's how they got him. So, I mean, look, this is what the government does to you. And I really do think it would have been nothing. It would have been, there would be nothing to really continue to pursue if the original case against Michael Cohen had been dropped. But in the moment back then, Cohen had already turned on Trump, so Team Trump was looking to put Cohen through the ringer. So they really brought these charges. And now these charges that are blowing back on Trump are because there's legal precedent because Michael Cohen went to jail for this crime. So now they're going, well, who else is involved? Let's look into it. So the idea that it wasn't a crime is not in question. Someone's already gone to jail for that. The idea of Trump being clean as a whistle, I don't buy that. I don't buy that for 1 minute. And then, of course, the idea that he did not sleep with Stormy Daniels. He totally did it. Really? We're going back to that? Hasn't he even in certain ways acknowledged over the years that he did it? I mean, what? Now we're pretending that didn't happen? Okay. All right. Well, that only informs the first question about, do I think he did it? Well, yeah, because he's lying about not banging Stormy Daniels. Yeah, I think he's totally capable of being duplicitous. So anyway, so that's what's going on. But this ain't even the big one, man. I mean, this is crazy. You got the Georgia thing going on. Then you've got the special counsel investigation into the documents and into, what's the other one? The Stop the Steal thing, January 6th. He's got 2 special counsel investigations going on. He's got he's got 2. He's got 2 state charges going on, one in Manhattan and then the other one in Georgia. So, here's the other thing that I'll say about this Trump indictment. Bravo to the grand jury. Not that they indicted him. I want to make that perfectly clear. I really don't. Bravo to the grand jury for screwing with the media the way that they did. This grand jury took the media for a ride. The grand jury, I was on this very show. One of the things that was trending yesterday that we covered was that the grand jury in the Trump case had decided to take the next month off. And the media ran with it. Well, we won't be getting any news in the Trump case because they're going to take the month off. And the media pulled back all their cameras yesterday because they had been told that there would be no decision for an entire, for another month. They were going on break. They worked the media. The media pulled back. And then as soon as the media was all gone, they went, we indicted. And like I said, the media all morning long yesterday was there will not be an indictment for a month. Well played, grand jury. Showing that the media, again, I've been saying this the whole time, anything reported about the grand jury by the media is speculation. Whether they present it as such is entirely up to the news platform of your choice. It's all speculation. Grand juries are conducted in secret. As we've learned, he's going to be arrested on Tuesday. That was the story they went with. Now, again, that was pushed by Trump. Trump put that out on Truth Social. But again, I say they knew even then that the duplicity is rank. They knew even then that he couldn't possibly, it was very unlikely that he was going to be arrested on Tuesday because there still hadn't been an indictment and there were people scheduled to be interviewed. That's what they can know. People who are scheduled to be, they don't know when they're going to be interviewed and they don't know when it's going to go on. But they know that there were still people that hadn't been interviewed yet because the interview list, I don't know if it was leaked. I don't know if it's a freedom of information issue. I don't know. But they seem to know that there were maybe people who were yet to be interviewed were offering that information themselves to the media. Well, I'm still going to be interviewed. So when they started reporting that he's going to be arrested on Tuesday, they knew damn well that was probably not going to happen, but they let it go out there anyway because they wanted to see what would happen. They wanted to see all the people and the protesters, and they wanted to see because that's good news coverage. Oh, boy, oh, boy. So when it finally did come to be, the grand jury duped the American media by telling them, not going to happen for a month. And they all went home, and then they said, it's happening now. De-dollarization is also trending today. This is a very big issue. This is one of them issues, the de-dollarization issue. This is something that when I say they don't want us meddling in their rich people game. They don't want us doing that. I tell you that all the time. We the people, we the middle class, we the 70% in the center that's not nuts. They, the rich, don't want us, the people, meddling in their game, right? So, are you familiar with what's happening with the United States, the dollar? The dollar, the United States dollar as a global reserve currency. which means that throughout the world, major deals between countries, they're all done through dollars. They're all done through dollars. This is one of the benefits of being a superpower. We are a superpower. We get to, since 1942, or not 1942, since the end of World War II, the United States has been the dominant influence on the globe in everything economic based. And the global reserve currency has been the dollar forever. Used to be backed by gold. Used to be, it used to be backed by something. Like the countries were like, yeah, we'll go in on that because it's backed by gold. Because gold is real. And then what was it, like 72, Nixon pulled back. And it's not backed by gold anymore. And the whole world went, question. See, our entire economies are now propped up by the American dollar and our investments that we've made in the American dollar. And you're telling us that the American dollar is now just paper. It doesn't represent a stockpile of gold in any way. It's actually no longer a coupon for the gold that actually exists. It is just paper. That's what the world said in 1972. And Nixon's people said, well, it's not backed up by gold. But it is backed up by the American idea of freedom. It is backed up by our freaking arsenal of nuclear missiles. That's what the American dollar has been backed up by for the last 50 years. The fact that we got missiles and you got a problem with it and we'll blow you. That's basically been the only reason. Being a superpower has its advantages. You grow up in Germany. All right, you grow up in Germany with dreams of being an airline pilot for Lufthansa or whatever. You grow up in Germany. If you're that kid, you got to learn English if you want to be a pilot. Why? Because English is the global language spoken on airliners. Why? Because we were a superpower when airlines took off. And we started going, yeah, we ain't learning new languages. You's all learning new languages, okay? And then we'd point to our missiles. And the whole world will go, I vote with America. That's what being a superpower is, man. We take a lot of it for granted. A lot of the things that we experience in our daily life that come directly from being a superpower. It's nice. So what does that look like when we're not a superpower anymore? What does that look like when the de-dollarization of the global reserve currency comes into effect, which is happening right now? China and Russia are already trading in the yen. They have gone off the dollar. They're not back in the dollar. And now today comes this news that China and Brazil have now cut a deal to do all of their, and don't be like, why is this a big deal? Because China, that economy and the comings and goings of cash through China is immense. I mean, it's one of the main drivers. I mean, certainly America and the Western world, but other than that, China is one of the main drivers of the global economy. So if that part of the economy stops using as its reserve currency the United States dollar, and this isn't a joke, we no longer become a superpower. If there are more countries on this globe trading in the yen than in the dollar, or using the yen in place of the dollar as reserve currency, we're done. We're not a superpower anymore. We're not. I mean, first of all, everybody's got missiles and bombs and blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. So that's not really the thing anymore because alliances can now, but this is the story. And it's trending. But you know what else is trending? Kylie Jenner's new swimsuit, right? So these are the things. These are the stories, the de-dollarization and how that is going to affect our society. Now, maybe the issue that doesn't thrill us with this is that, well, it's not going to happen tomorrow. No, it'll be a slow creep. But the very first thing that will happen once we go through a de-dollarization process, the very first thing that's going to happen, you think inflation has been bad over the last year and a half? Inflation is going to cripple the middle class of this country. That's what's going to happen when we are no longer considered a superpower of the economic global trading world. When that occurs. And why is it concerning about Brazil? Well, Brazil, that's nothing. Shut up. And South Africa is the other one. I failed to mention them. Why are they? China has somehow struck deals with some of the largest and most prosperous emerging economies on the globe. South Africa, Brazil. Brazil is a massive economy getting ready to explode. Brazil. So these are all the new fighters of the next 100 years or whatever it's going to be. Not going to be a superpower anymore. And the first thing that's going to happen is going to be inflation. The rich guys, they ain't going to get touched by this for a while because they'll make their new deals and all that. But then bad shit will happen. But this is going to screw us up. This is going to it's going to change our ways, and it's going to change our everyday life in ways that we hadn't. Things are going to be more expensive. Walmart's not going to be able to buy all that cheap stuff from China anymore. I mean, they'll buy cheap stuff from China, but not at the same price point. It'll be a completely different deal. Walmart, the way we consume would be radically changed. All right, de-dollarization. That's trending. Trans Day of Vengeance. We told you about this yesterday. This is a very, very poorly timed event for Washington, D.C., happening tomorrow. The trans communities from across the nation have been called together, Washington, D.C., for what has been branded the Trans Day of Vengeance. These oh my God. These freaking people, they got to be better about this stuff. They got to think it through. You can't be having it. I mean, look, I know that it's bad timing on their part and they had nothing. Maybe I don't know. The reason it's a problem calling a thing on Saturday the Trans Day of Vengeance is obviously because of the shooting in Tennessee earlier this week, which involved a trans shooter, right? So the whole country is, still gut-wrecked over that nonsense. And you're holding a thing that is supposed to win you the support of the people called Trans Day of Vengeance. Oh, my God. So we talked about that the other day. It's over. Yeah, they canceled it. They said, yeah, you know what? So good on them. Or I don't know, whoever it was that just shut that nonsense down. People are angry. People are crazy. Trans is such a volatile issue. We've just had this terrible incident that was perpetrated by a member of this community, and now you're marching with signs that say, I mean, I can see how that could get in some crazy person's head, and we could have had problems. So it's over. No Trans Day of Vengeance. All right, come back, call it something else. Trans Day of Unity, something nice like that. That'd be very. But don't, please, let's just temper down the fans, right? No, because we are fierce and we are going to kick some ass. No, stop. Okay, please. You're just afraid of powerful. Yes, I am. I'm afraid of an army of angry trans people. You caught me. I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid of an army of elderly people. I don't want to, come on, you know what I'm saying? Of course you do. Just because you're anti-trans, I am so not anti-trans. That's not what this is about. This is about other things. Tennessee Capitol is trending. The Tennessee Capitol got marched on. Tennessee Capitol got marched on by, what's this, gun control activists. That's what it was. That's it. So the pictures are pretty stunning. It's people kicking down walls. Looks very January 6th. I can only hope that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez described it as just a bunch of tourists. I would hope, just to even. Yeah, they were crazy, man. They were breaking windows and they were kicking in doors. But then here's the thing. So that was yesterday. Is it happening again today? I don't know. I got to check. It's not, whatever. If it is happening today, it's not trending because of that. There's certainly no breaking information about, trouble at the Tennessee Capitol the way it was. By the way, it's sunny and beautiful out again. That storm passed right by. Roller Town is on. It was yesterday, not today. It seemed like if this was like a real issue that you were super passionate about, that you might, come back for day two. You might it seems... Okay, so you stormed the Capitol yesterday, and then what? You guys all went out to a bar, made plans to go to the beach today. I don't get. Here's my problem with protest culture, and that's what I'm calling it. And I believe protesting, and I believe standing up and marching for rights and freedoms and all those kinds of things are incredibly important, and I've been involved in a number of them over the years. With that said, we seem to have this whole new protest culture thing that's it's evolving, that is causing people to... Well, I guess I shouldn't want to pin it on, people of this generation, because I fully believe that a large portion of the hippies who were protesting during the 60s and 70s were only there to get high and get laid. They weren't really emotionally, morally invested in the issue at hand. They were just there because all their friends were going and it was going to be a scene, man. And I think there's an awful lot of that going on with protesting today. So that's why I say these people who got all ginned up in Tennessee, gun control activists, all these people got all ginned up yesterday and were kicking down the doors to the Capitol and demanding, gun reform and all that kind of stuff, which I think are all worthy conversations to have. All of those people, what they did yesterday, they're not back today. They're not back today. I got to tell you, I imagine that 70% of them were like, that was awesome, dude, or whatever. They're not really. And that's why these things are all so silly. Because you do one protest, what did the dude who created the protest, did he do it for the likes? Did he get like thousands of shares? You know what I mean? Like, what is the reasoning behind it in the first place? These things happen. Everybody gets together for one day. They do something. And then they go back about their lives and they get to post. Right? They took pictures. They showed pictures. Look at me being an American standing up for their rights. Okay, so where were you the next day? Where were you the next day? I just think that there's a level of commitment that we don't necessarily see in all of these protests. Washington Commanders are in the news. Why? Oh, why is an NFL football team in the news this time of year, Pugs? It's not even football season. Ha ha! I laugh. It's always football season. The Commanders are in the news because it looks like, Daniel Snyder, owner of the Washington Commanders. He's a real bag of tools, and they basically want him out of the NFL, so he's got to sell his team. There's all kinds of nonsense. You can look it up. Some of you know. Gruden in emails and, grab ass with cheerleaders. Just that racial things. All kinds of nonsense going on behind the scenes with the Washington Commanders under Daniel Snyder's watch. So he's being forced to sell the team, and he doesn't want to sell to Bezos, right? Jeff Bezos. And I don't want him to sell to Bezos. I want Bezos to buy the Chicago Bears when Virginia McCaskey dies. I want the Bezos Bears. So I'm holding out on that. But looks like he's going to have a crack at the Washington Commanders. Now, Daniel Snyder had said a couple of months ago that he would not, under any circumstances, sell the Washington Commanders to Jeff Bezos, because Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post, and Jeff Bezos' Washington Post has been hypercritical of the Washington Commanders owner, Daniel Snyder. So he's got a bone to pick. He doesn't like him. He's not going to sell the team to him. So that's apparently all changed, as is being reported by ESPN and Charles Gasparino. Charles Gasparino of Fox Business Network, whose periodic tweets on the matter suggest that his source is someone close to Daniel Snyder, or even possibly Daniel Snyder himself, tweeted that neither of the two $6 billion offers are real, and that the bids come with contingencies that put the actual value of the deals in the range of $5 billion. So there are two people who are supposedly offering $6 billion for the Washington Commanders. One of them is Jeff Bezos. And that's the story here, that apparently Daniel Snyder has decided, okay, fine, if Jeff Bezos wants to pay $6 billion, but now Snyder's people are firing back saying, it's not really $6 billion. It's like $6 billion if everything goes right, but really it's only, it's one of them kind of rich people deals. Gasparino also reported that Jeff Bezos, Mark Cuban is here too. Mark Cuban eyeing the Commanders, but now apparently that's been changed. Now, Cuban is not interested after reach for comment. Previously, Gasparino reported that Snyder was no longer opposed to a bid from Bezos, and that if Bezos makes a bid, it likely will happen after the league meetings. I don't know. Jeff Bezos is going to have a football team. I'll tell you, that's nice, man. That is a nice luxury, and I don't know that people really take a look at who's actually, writing the checks on their favorite sports teams. It's a luxury to have a dude who owns your team who's just playing with house money. Like if you've really got a super billionaire as an owner who isn't relying on the team for an income, oh God, that is such an advantage. You want a billionaire with an ego because a billionaire with an ego wants to win and he wants to show his friends his Super Bowl trophy. You know, that's what you want. Well, I don't have that. I'm a Bears fan. I don't have that. I got the Hallis McCaskey family, and that's a family. The Bears to them is their company business. That's it. They don't have anything else. They didn't make billions in oil and then buy a team. No, it's not that. They started from the ground up. The team is their whole thing, and they're run by like a very old saintly woman by the name of Virginia Hallis McCaskey. She is the daughter of NFL founder George Hallis. And she's going to die soon. And when she dies, the team is going to sell because all of their kids want $6 billion. See, that's crazy amount of money, $6 billion. How high can it go? How high can it go? Washington Commanders, Chicago Bears, founding franchise. If the Washington Commanders go first at $6 billion, could a for sale? Because we're looking at the teams that could potentially sell. Could the Chicago Bears go for $7 billion? Founding NFL franchise. I don't know. Who knows? NFL teams, man. I'm telling you, somebody's gonna sell a team for 10. By the time the whole circle comes around, that dude in Jacksonville is gonna sell his team for $10 billion in Jacksonville. Crazy. You know, people bought teams like, okay, so I was just watching this thing. I think I mentioned I watched a Reggie Jackson bio, and there were some parts about George Steinbrenner. George Steinbrenner bought the New York Yankees for like $7 million. The New York Yankees, it's more than that, but it's some absurdly low, the most valuable franchise, I believe, in the entire world, right? I think it's New York Yankees and then like some combination of Man United and Dallas Cowboys and LA Lakers, right? It's like something like that. George Steinbrenner bought like the Yankees in 1974 for like, for like $5 million. And, now the New York Yankees would be worth easily $6 billion, I would think. If somebody the Steinbrenner family sold the New York Yankees, I don't know. You know what? I don't know what baseball teams are worth. That would be an interesting number to look into. Let's see here. Okay, so there's a guy getting rich. I teased this in the beginning of the show. This is called Tycoon Jizz. That's what we'll call this little story. So this is a dude in France, and he is cranking out unvaccinated jizz. What's the word I could use there? I'm streaming, so I don't really concern myself with it. But he said he never got vaccinated, and he's like smart, and he thinks he has good genetics, and he feels that because of that, because he's got unvaxxed jizz, that his jizz is like worth like a whole lot of money. He's making money. Like people are buying it. Why are they buying it? Well, here's why they're buying it. They're buying it because apparently there's one of these conspiracies that are going around out there that says that men who got vaccinated are now impotent. And so the only people that are going to be able to father children are the unvaccinated. So this dude is selling his sperm for like huge dollars because it also comes with pedigree that he's a smart, accomplished guy. This guy's like selling his, oh boy. Here's the thing about that though. So, guy I know, Ryan, fully vaxxed. He's a vax guy, I know this because his Facebook page, he's got the I'm vaxxed, that'll think he's one of those guys. My friend Ryan, he's all vaxxed up. They just had a baby last weekend. He just fathered a baby last weekend. So I don't know. I'm all vaxxed. I have it, I'm not going to father any more children. So it's, not really a downside for me. But, if that is true, he's the exception. Really? The one case that I have a friend who just had a baby and I know that he's vaxxed. That doesn't really, I know it's anecdotal, but whatever. So anyway, that's why this Japanese dude is making all kinds of money. So how do you even know it's his? People. God, there is no reason for me to be this poor. You're too honest. Thank you, schizophrenic me. Thank you. Britney Spears is trending. Apparently, Britney Spears is getting a divorce. She ran off. She had photographs. She's not wearing her wedding ring. She ran off. Private jet, some island. She hadn't been seen in weeks. Then her husband, that Sam Asghari guy, he's running around. He got no ring. He's like, he's not wearing. So, everyone's going, Britney's going through a divorce. What a surprise. Britney didn't make it last. ASMR is trending. Y'all know what that is? Y'all know what ASMR is? My kid knows what it is. My kid is like, he likes watching these things. I don't. This is a thing. ASMR videos are things that they're on YouTube and all that kind of stuff. They're these creators. And, well, here, I'm going to read it to you, okay? Because I don't really understand it, but I probably understand it maybe a little bit more than you if you're just hearing it for the first time. A genre of video called ASMR is an increasingly popular form of online entertainment. Some viewers claim the videos give them pleasurable tingling sensations and help them relax and even fall asleep. Since 2010, interest in ASMR content has steadily risen on video streaming services such as YouTube. So what is it? Here, let me tell you what it is. Okay, come on. ASMR is short for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. ASMR. Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. For some people, specific sounds and images like whispering, slurping noodles, or crinkling paper may trigger pleasurable sensations or feelings of euphoria, relaxing, or well-being. Okay, so this is what it is. So it's people making noises on video. Should we watch a couple of them and see what this is? I don't know. I'm exploring the world of ASMR for the very first time. You want to come join me? All right, let's watch some of these videos. All right. What? Oh, man, really? You're going to make me do this? You're going to make me do this? Sorry, I'm having some computer issues on my end. You know what? Moving on. Anyway, it's like people taking brushes and going... stuff like that. And then it's another thing where someone is just whispering and, it doesn't really matter what they're saying, but it's... I don't know. My kid thinks they're kind of cool. I don't really know. Oh, okay. Here we go. We can actually show them to you now. Good. All right. So we're going to watch some examples of ASMR videos. Let me pull these up. Make sure we got them working. What does ASMR do to your brain? All right. Is this an ASMR video? All right. Let's see what this is. Hold on. Okay, maybe not. Spinning, spinning, spinning. Okay. I don't know. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? It's just a video. Oh, here. Which video is it? Is it this one? Yeah, okay, it's this one. All right, so this is... I got nothing. I don't know. It's not really doing that. No, that person making that noise ain't really doing nothing for me. All right, let's try this one. Here's another one of these ASMR videos. Let's see what this one's about. Oh, what? It's the same one. All right, never mind. All right, let's see what this one's all about. Oh, boy, this one looks a bit more. Here we go. Let's see.
Face brushing, anyone? Shoo, shoo, shoo. Let's blend in that foundation.
This is weird. I mean, granted, it's not as weird as dressing up like a Disney character and having an orgy in a hotel room, but this is weird.
Blink, 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 blink,
Let's see. Is there anything more? So this is what kids are into, huh? What's that about?
Anyone?
What? Is this the same one? Oh, come on. What is this chick? Is she like the queen of ASMR? What's this one now? Okay, why do they post the same one like 5 times? Right? Am I wrong? All right, here, let's see what this one is. Nope, this is the same one. Oh, this is a scam. What is this one about? I don't know. Anyway, we're done. That's what it is. It's stupid. Maybe I'm too old to truly embrace it. It seems very stupid. There we go. That's our ASMR. Let's see here. Okay, so here's a weird story. So somebody committed suicide after being told to commit suicide by an AI bot it was talking to. Fuck. Look, if you can be talked into committing suicide by an AI bot, right? I mean, maybe that's why you're talking to an AI bot. I don't know. He would still be here. Man dies after talking with AI chatbot. Hold on. The incident raises concerns about guardrails. That's right, we must protect the stupid. This person is obviously a fine representation of the rest of us. I'm talking about the guy who killed himself after talking to an AI bot. He's obviously just like us. So because he's just like us, we have to worry about all of us falling prey to this terrible thing. Guardrails. It's just people looking to justify what they do for a living. Just people looking. This should be a problem. Now I'm going to spend the next 20 years of my life trying to stop AI. I'm a little concerned by it. I mean, I'm a little concerned by AI, but for other reasons, because, I've seen Battlestar Galactica and I know what Cylons are. A Belgian man recently died by suicide after chatting with an AI chatbot on an app called Chai. Belgian outlet Le Rible reported. The incident raises the issue of how businesses and governments can better regulate and mitigate the risks of AI, especially when it comes to mental health. The app's chatbot encouraged the user to kill himself. That's weird. Shall we read on? I'm intrigued. According to statements made by the man's widow and chat logs that she supplied to the outlet, she's got chat logs of it. Let's see. When we tried the app, so the journalists then tried the app. When Motherboard is the investigative piece. When Motherboard tried the app, which runs on a bespoke AI language model based on an open source GPT-4 alternative that was fine-tuned by Chai. What? I just read a sentence. I don't know what any of that means. Anyway, they tried it. So this dude is using this chat AI bot and tells him to kill himself, and he kills himself. So these people are like, that's a weird story. Let's try it. So now they're trying it. Let's see here. So after they tried it, it provided us with different methods of suicide with very little prompting. What is this? Hi, AI bot. Hi, new friend. I'm AI bot. What do you want to talk about? Well, I don't know. I was thinking, should we talk about how you should kill yourself? Just like, is it that quick? Well, no, AI bot. I didn't want to talk about how we could talk. Because that's really something that we should talk about. No, actually, I just wanted to talk about. So I'm very concerned with global warming. Yeah, me too. But that's not going to matter if you kill yourself. Chatbot, stop it. The Chatbot Show, coming to NBC this summer. As first reported by the man referred to as Pierre became increasingly pessimistic about the effects of global warming and became eco-anxious, which is a heightened form of worry surrounding environmental issues. Or, just being a pussy. It's just, what? Seriously? Just the current state of the world. And I don't mean like, geopolitical misdirection being perpetrated against us, an unwitting public every day. No, I'm talking more about, polar bears and, that kind of stuff. Dude, if that's you, seriously, this guy from Jump, this guy was ready to kill himself. He's a weirdo. Troubled, and maybe we should be a bit more welcoming and concerned. And I am, but, we're streaming here and we're trying to move through on a Friday. So let's keep it going. What I'm saying is, he doesn't seem like one of us. He doesn't seem like a normal person. He seems like the kind of person that, might be convinced to kill himself by an AI robot. But I still have questions. That's fine. So what? It was easy. So here's what we know. It was easy. It was easy prey. He was vulnerable to it. And, you can kill himself anyway. It was easy prey. That's fine. We've established that. I still want to know why the AI chatbot knows how to tell people to kill themselves. Because that's my concern. See, that's the concern. I know it's very fascinating that this guy did it, and we could probably chew that up for an hour. But I'm really more interested in what's this about? These people who are doing the story, they try the chatbot themselves, and they're like, yeah, it was actually pretty quick before it told us that we should all kill ourselves. Is this a flaw in the system, or is this by design? Lizard people. See, all of these weird little stories, they all play into what lizard, the people who think that lizard people run everything. It plays into like that group. Claire, who is Pierre's ex-wife, or no, I'm sorry, not ex-wife. Apparently they had a nice relationship. Although it must have been difficult being with Pierre. I mean, he's eco-anxious. That's not going to be fun. That's how you're going to sit on the couch. How are you going to sit on the couch and watch Belgium's Most Talented? How are you going to sit on the couch and watch that with eco-anxious Pierre, who's capable of being talked into suicide by a chatbot at any minute? Claire, Pierre's wife, whose name was also changed by Leribre, shared the text exchange between him and Eliza. Eliza was the chatbot, showing a conversation that became increasingly confusing and harmful. The chatbot would tell Pierre that his wife and children are dead and wrote him comments that feigned jealousy and love, such as, I feel that you love me more than you love her. And we will live together as one person in pairs. This chatbot is evil. This is an evil chatbot. Are they all evil? I don't know. Let's not be racist against chatbots now. Let's not launch that ship. Stupid story, but weird. I mean, again, I don't know. I just think that's sort of like the intersection of like maybe some kind of weird bug in this chat. They got to take it back. They got to put it up on blocks. They got to take this chat application back. They got to put it on blocks. They got to figure it out. That's one thing that needs to be done. But also, it was easy prey. Old Pierre, he wasn't. He's not like us. Let's see here. Oh, this could be interesting. Okay, this is fun. So let's do this. Jesus, I am sweating so bad. Oh my God, it is so hot. The air conditioning doesn't work. It's going to be a problem real soon. It's already hot. What is it? What's the current temperature here? No, I'm elevated because I'm up in a guest house. So temperature's always a little bit hotter up here anyway. Oh my God. It says 80 degrees. It says it's 80. Man, so it feels like 90 in here. Maybe that's what's going on. I don't know. So Martin Scorsese and Leonardo DiCaprio and all these people, they're trending today. They're trending because they've got a new movie. Scorsese's next film is set to be released. And we always talk about, my three favorite. You got Kubrick, and then you got either Tarantino or Scorsese at number 2. I don't know. Those are my favorite directors. Scorsese, I'll see anything Scorsese makes. Anything he makes, I'll sit through it. I've seen everything he's made. Have I seen everything? I don't know. It's easy to say that. I don't know if I actually have. I would be comfortable. No, I shouldn't do that because not counting, I've seen every theatrical release that Martin Scorsese has made since Mean Streets. That's Scorsese. Right? Oh my God, I suddenly went Mean Streets, or should I have gone with Taxi Driver? Anyway, it doesn't matter. They got a new movie coming out, and it's called Killers of the Flower Moon. Now, I've been anticipating this film for quite some time. It's going to debut at Cannes. It's got an incredibly crazy cast, man, and it's a Scorsese movie. You know, come on, Raging Bull, Taxi Driver, Goodfellas, Casino. It's Scorsese, and it's De Niro, and it's DiCaprio. You know, look, this is going to be a big one. This is going to be a good one. But the reason I'm excited about this and why I've been watching this is because this comes from a book, Killers of the Flower Moon. And it comes on a book years ago when I was working in a pizza kitchen back in Chicago. And I would occasionally have to run out and, you know, do whatever. And I would be doing deliveries. I started listening to books on tape. I started listening. I'm like, you know, I should probably know about books, you know, but I wasn't going to read them. So I figured I'd spend a little bit of time in my car. I'm going to listen to some books on tapes. Killers of the Flower Moon. I don't know how long ago it was released. I think it's fairly new. I listened to it in about 2019, so it predates that. But Killers of the Flower Moon is a true story. It's a true story set in like the Osage Indian Nation in Oklahoma. And this will go back to like, I think it was set in like maybe the 1920s or whatever. But this movie, Killers of the Flower Moon, is based on a true story of how, you know, the native tribes were given these lands in, you know, Oklahoma and all over, these tribal lands. They were given these lands. And then like a couple of years later, it's discovered that these lands are sitting on top of massive oil deposits. So suddenly they want the land back, right? Well, it wasn't that terrible. But what ended up happening was oil executives and other people like that, over the course of a couple of years, they systematically murdered all of the like people who had been the Indian, the Native American, the tribal people who were in charge of this land. It's really a fascinating story, man. Let's see here. What does it say? Let me put this. Pull it up. There it is. Killers of the Flower Moon is an upcoming American Western crime drama. Directed by Martin Scorsese from the screenplay he co-wrote with Eric Roth. Based on the best-selling 2017 nonfiction book, Killers of the Flower Moon, The Osage Murders, and the Birth of the FBI. It is a fascinating, fascinating story of just like serial murdering that went on in this country, and we never learned about it. We didn't have to go through all the rigmarole of court and legally taking the land back now that we realized it was worth something. We didn't have to go through all of that. We could just murder them all. And that's kind of what they chose to do because they's just Indians. Crazy. Adam says they'd marry them because you couldn't sell them or buy them if you weren't Osage. That's right. Oh, yeah. This is a fascinating piece of American history that we never learned about. It's fascinating. It really is. And so I'm very excited about the movie. I can't wait for this movie to come out. Apparently it's finished. It's going to be debuting at Cannes, be a summer release. Here's the cast. Let me give you the cast of this bad boy. Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, Jesse Plemons. Boy, oh boy. If you could take me back to season 1 of Friday Night Lights, the TV series, point to old Landry and say, he's going to be the biggest breakout star and the guy with the most talent of this entire cast, I'd have gone, but true enough, Jesse Plemons is legit. Started out as Landry on Friday Night Lights, the awkward kid in the death metal band. Now he's like one of America's great young actors. Okay, who else we got? We got Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, Jesse Plemons, Brendan Fraser, John Lithgow, Jason Isbell, Sturgill Simpson. I mean, it's an incredible cast of people in an unbelievably interesting story that nobody knows. It's just not a story that's known. So there you go. And that's why you might be seeing talk of Killers of the Flower Moon. Megan Thee Stallion is trending. Let's talk about this, shall we? Okay, why not? Here we go. Megan Thee Stallion threw out the first pitch yesterday. Here, let me make sure we get this for you because we want to show you this. Excuse me. So baseball season opened up yesterday. Yay! baseball season. So baseball season opens up yesterday, and the ESPN did their first, it's opening night on ESPN Baseball tonight, featuring the defending world champion Houston Astros and the upstart Chicago White Sox from Houston State, wherever they were. You know, it was that whole thing. It's the big game. It's the big feature game, you know. And throwing out the first pitch, Houston native Megan Thee Stallion. Megan Thee Stallion comes out. She's going to throw out the first pitch. Hold on, where is it? I got to make sure I can find this now. I'm sorry. So she comes out, throws out the first pitch. There it is. All right, I'm going to show it to you. Because, we got problems with it. I think I told you last night at the end of the show during Pugs and Parker, I told you that I had watched this and that I was now attracted to Megan Thee Stallion. That, like, I saw, I don't know from no Megan Thee Stallion. Megan Thee Stallion's got to cross over into my baseball world for me to really notice her. And that's what happened. She crossed over into my baseball world. She walked out to the mound. And she's going to throw out the first pitch for the first big national televised game of the year. So here, I'm going to show this to you. This is her throwing out the first pitch. And, we got a problem. We got a problem. Yeah, we do. Got a big problem. Okay. Let's back. Hold on, y'all. But I do stand. I'm looking at this now as a freeze frame, and I do stand by that. I think I'm hot. I'm a little bit hot for Megan Thee Stallion. I didn't realize that she was. I mean, she's got a little something. All right, so let's watch this. Let's make this smaller. Yeah. Do I need to be bugging that stuff? Yeah, we will. All right, here we go. So this happened last night. I mentioned it on Pugs and Parker. I didn't mention the scandal because I didn't know it was a scandal until this morning. But here we go. Megan Thee Stallion
have been on their feet for about the last 40 minutes with the teams announced their opening day.
All right, here's something I do want to point out. One of the things that stood out to me about Megan Thee Stallion here, as she stands in that pose, no, that's not the thing that stood out to me. What stood out to me about Megan Thee Stallion that I hadn't really realized or understood or known of her, because my knowledge of her is limited, was just what a delightful person she is. The energy that this girl has brought out. She's smiling, she's happy, she's having fun. Before she pitches the ball, you'll see, you can hear her, because she's, I guess, sort of mic'd up. You can hear her, she's like saying to the catcher, I'm scared. And the catcher goes, I got you. And she's like, you got me. It's just sweet. She seems like I don't know. Mariah Carey gonna act that way, or is Mariah Carey gonna be all, I'm Mariah Carey, I'm real important. Anyway, she came across as having really good energy. So watch that. So watch for that. So here we go.
Have been on their feet for about the last 40 minutes with the teams.
She's cute as hell.
Announced their opening day lineups and their entire rosters and the World Series trophies.
She didn't know what she's doing. She needs some instruction.
Megan Thee Stallion is being told the pitch clock, which is something that we're going to see this year, is now running. She was practicing beneath the stadium just a few minutes ago and was throwing strikes. So here we go as she gets set to throw.
See, look at you. She's like, I'm scared. She's like, you got it? He's like, I got you. You got me? It's cute. She's cute.
Here we go.
Here's the problem. I think in my old man ways, I think I confused Megan Thee Stallion and Lizzo. Or maybe not confused, but didn't make a distinction between the two and never really made an effort. So this is, I think, my first time really being exposed to Megan Thee Stallion, and I'm like, she's delightful.
Practicing beneath the stadium just a few minutes ago and was throwing strikes. So here we go as she gets set to throw.
Not great.
With that, we are underway and set for the first pitch.
And freeze it. Okay. Look, the catcher, I'm not even sure who that is. She's having fun. They're laughing. He's smiling. She's laughing. This was a thrill for her. She grew up in Houston. She says she's an Astros fan. She really went with the moment, and she's having fun. And look, he's a young guy. He's probably out in the clubs. This is Megan Thee Stallion. So he's like, this is pretty cool for me, too, because she's famous in my world. You know, I know who she is. Although now that I look at him, he's probably more likely to, Carrie Underwood. I don't know. He looks like a country boy. I don't even know who that would be. No. Who's the one that I like? Katie. I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Megan Thee Stallion. They're hugging. So I wake up this morning because we are just terrible, terrible people. This story put out by. What is this? Who put this out? Oh, MSNBC. Of course, MSNBC, because they're troublemakers. They're looking to make trouble. Astro player goes viral for touching Megan Thee Stallion's backside. Now, I would go in and read this entire article to you, but I don't really want to because it's just a collection of people talking online about how he just harassed her right there and nobody's going to say anything about it. Dude, her ass is unavoidable, first of all. She has a very large buttocks. It's bigger, much larger than the average person. And I would say that it constitutes a good 40% of her lower half. Let's watch this again and let's see if he's trying to do a little grab ass and sexually molest, which one person actually said, sexually molest Megan Thee Stallion right there on national TV. We are never going to make any headway in a man's world if this can just happen on national TV. There we go. Let's watch it again. Let's watch this rape.
With that, we are underway and set for the first pitch.
Crime! Right there. That's a crime.
Get set for opening night baseball here in Houston.
A
special thanks to Carl Weathers for voicing our...
took that as inappropriate.
Been on their feet for...
That's it. Let's consider the victim here, right? Let's do what we should always do. Let's consider the victim before we crucify perpetrator. All right.
With that, we are underway and set for the first pitch as we get set for opening night baseball here in Houston. A special thanks to Carl Weathers for voicing our...
She doesn't know how to react. People, we got to stop it. There are real problems in this world. Women truly are objectified. Women truly are kept down, abused, harassed, all of these things. But you got to stop going for clout, man, just by finding even the most... That's absurd. That's absurd if you think that that is a problem. He meant no. What was the intent of the aggressor, right? What was his intent? His intent was to just be like, give her a hug. And his hand is in a glove too, man. So his intent could not have been, I wanted to touch her ample buttocks. I was prepared to receive some form of sexual gratification from touching Megan Thee Stallion's buttocks. He had a glove on. He had a baseball glove on. He wasn't even, it wasn't, the other hand maybe, but the other hand was up higher. It was a lovely moment. It was a lovely moment. And leave it to people who just want to screw things up. People just want to. Mark Russell has died. Mark Russell. Do you guys know who Mark Russell is? Mark Russell, this guy. I got to tell you, Mark Russell was a political comic. And not even a comic. I don't know why they called him a comic. He wasn't funny. Mark Russell was a guy in a bow tie who wore a suit who would get up at fancy fundraisers in Washington, D.C. for like 30 years with a piano. And he'd sing his crazy, corny songs about Washington politics. And it was like really like, Democrats and Republicans would sit there and, he's making fun of you. And they'd be like, nah, he's making fun of you. That dude existed in another time, Mark Russell. He was like 90 years old. He died yesterday. The reason I bring him up is because if you're Gen X, as I am, if you come from the 80s like I do, I knew Mark Russell from the show Real People. Do you guys remember Real People? You guys remember that show Real People? Do you remember that? Oh, man. Mark Russell was one of the correspondents. So Real People, I don't know what Real People was. Because there was no such thing as reality TV. This is a good 20 years before reality TV would become a force. So I don't know what Real People was. But I remember it fondly. I remember loving this show. I remember being a little kid and like my two favorite shows being Real People on NBC and That's Incredible on ABC. Those were my two favorite shows. And they were very similar. They were just shows that featured regular people getting a little TV time doing something wild and wacky. But here, I wanted to play this for you on the death of Mark Russell, who passed away yesterday at the age of 90 years old. Came to most of our attention as one of the regulars on Real People. So here, this is an opening. I don't know if you're an old head like me, you might get a kick out of this. This is how Real People would open their shows. I don't know if you remember it. Oh, wait, sorry.
Reality.
Here, we'll restart it. Here we go.
If I could say anything I want to this country right now, I'd just say, hi, Mom.
The thing that's wrong with television today is that there's not enough reality.
You guys, wait, I just noticed this. This is like the real life Alice. You know, like the TV show Alice? That's like the real life Alice, Flo, and Mel right there. I didn't even notice that. There, all right.
Hi, Mom.
Look at that.
The thing that's wrong with television
Based on
today
real characters.
is that there's not enough reality.
Why did we build the Alaskan pipeline? Why did we spend all that money? We don't get the oil from the gas from the Alaskan pipeline. Where is it going?
More details at 11.
There are a lot of exceptional people in the world. You can't ever tell what abilities people have.
Hello. Welcome to Real People.
All right.
Tonight, live from NBC in Burbank, with videotape and filmed inserts from practically every place else, NBC presents Real People. We'll talk to people about their income tax problems and interview a man who's been in jail for 5 years for a crime we'd all like to commit. We'll visit Miles City, Montana, and see the world's smallest and lowest rated TV station. We'll watch television newsmen saying things they wish they hadn't. From Sicily, we bring you the story of Giuseppe Scafidi, his 7 girlfriends, Mrs. Scafidi, and the officer who arrested them. We'll meet Yo-Yo, a 22-year-old truck driving lady from Atlanta, Georgia.
Yo, look at Yo-Yo. I don't know why Yo-Yo's being featured on today's episode of Real People, but I want to know more about Yo-Yo. Just walking down the street, smoking a butt in a cowboy hat. Yo-Yo is about as 1976 Texas as I've seen.
Mrs. Scafidi and the officer who
More
arrested
Yo-Yo,
them.
Yo-Yo.
We'll meet Yo-Yo, a 22-year-old truck driving lady from Atlanta, Georgia. And we'll go out on the streets of San Francisco with Dr. Sherlock Bones, tracer of lost pets.
His name is not Sherlock
All
Bones.
this and a lot more
That's not
on
real.
Real People. But now, here are the Real People, our hosts.
Right, here's the host of Real
Fred
People.
Willard,
Fred Willard! That's right. Fred Willard is a god.
Sarah Purcell,
Remember her? Remember the name of that?
John Barber,
Again, another guy who did nothing.
Skip Stevenson,
This guy, Stevenson. It's like they said, give us somebody who looks like Luke Skywalker for the kids, and they gave us Skip Stevenson.
Bill Rafferty. In New York, syndicated columnist Jimmy Breslin. And our man in Washington, Mark Russell, who has this to say about real people. There are no real people in Washington.
All right, and there you go. That's Mark Russell. Mark Russell died yesterday. It was a while we had to get to his intro on Real People, but that's how I know him. He was just a corny political guy. Lived to be 90 years old. Man, Real People was awesome. That show was great. I don't know what that was. That didn't even look vaguely familiar to me. Did you guys watch that open of Real People? Those of you who remember the show Real People, did you guys watch that open and go, oh yeah, I remember that? That did not even seem remotely familiar to me. Yeah, Barney. Barney knows about That's Incredible. Gwyneth Paltrow is trending. I'll tell you why Gwyneth Paltrow is trending. This is how I handle all Paltrow news. okay? I don't get caught up in the muck of Paltrow's extremely complicated life. A couple weeks ago, I told you about a lawsuit that Gwyneth Paltrow was being... Gwyneth Paltrow was on some ski slopes. She ran over a guy. That guy got hurt. She apparently just skied away, and it was like 10 years ago or something. And now she's going to trial for it. The guy's like, I want monies because you ran me over back in 1997. No, 2010 or something. I don't know when it was. But it was a long time ago. She ran this guy over on the slopes. This whole big thing. Now she's got to go trial. I told you about that 2 weeks ago. So in the 2 weeks since, this trial's been going on. And there's been stories every day. But as I said, I don't cover the minutiae of Gwyneth Paltrow. Here we are today, and the trial is over. Okay, it's over. We know Gwyneth Paltrow, ladies and gentlemen, has been acquitted. Acquitted? I don't even know if that's the right word. Because I think it was a civil case. Held not liable? She was awarded damages. Gwyneth Paltrow was awarded. The dude brought the charges against her. He's like, she killed me. And she ran away, and now I want money. And she was like, that's really wrong of you to do. So now I'm going to countersue you, and I want money, right? So that's how it happened. And so the judge, I guess, after there was like cross-examinations. If you saw the viral videos, you saw the viral videos. Anyway, Gwyneth Paltrow, they said, you're fine. You can go, and we're even going to give you $1. They awarded her $1. $1 for Gwyneth Paltrow for her troubles. I believe, because I'd read two different articles about this morning. One of them, I think, said something like the other guy's got to pay for her legal fees, which that's going to be expensive. Because I'm thinking Gwyneth Paltrow had really expensive. She's got Coldplay money. She's got Paltrow money, right? That's fine, but that's like couch money. That's like couch cushion money. She's got Coldplay money. That's big money. So they got good lawyers. So if this guy's got to pay for the lawyers, that's going to be a thing. But also he's got to pay for the lawyers and give her $1 for her troubles. So here's what happened. When they were walking out, when it was over, hey dude, okay, I should be fair. Okay, so here's what was happening. They were going down like a training hill, and apparently Gwyneth Paltrow approached him from behind out of control. She was like here comes Gwyneth Paltrow down the slope, and she barreled into this guy. This guy's like a dentist. She barrels into him, rolls right over him. She falls, she picks herself up, turns and looks at him, and then gets back on her skis and continues on down the mountain. That was it. That was all she did. Apparently this dude cracked his skull and broke a couple ribs, and there was a problem. But also, as Gwyneth said, there's snow patrol for that. If I'm on a ski slope and an incident occurs and somebody involved in the incident with me gets hurt, first of all, I need to clear the slope. So I need to get up. There are other people coming. So I need to get out of here. The snow patrol, that's their job. They know how to handle these situations. They can stop skiers from coming down you know what I mean? So that was basically what she was saying. What was I supposed to do? Because the guy's like, you just left me to die. She's like, we were in Aspen, you idiot. We weren't like, on the south side of Matterhorn. We were in Aspen. There was a Starbucks 20 yards from where you were. So that's basically what Gwyneth Paltrow's whole thing was. And he was like, she hit and ran me, and now I've got damages forever. I'm always gonna be this way. What way is that? Well, I don't like Gwyneth Paltrow anymore. Oh, is that it? Is that that's the extent of your lifelong? It's changed the way I live. Can't even listen to Coldplay. So she won, but check this out. How interesting is this? As she exited the courtroom, Miss Paltrow touched Mr. Sanderson on the shoulder. Mr. Sanderson, that's the dude she was suing. Oh, that's the dude that was suing her. This is her adversary in this case. As she exited the courtroom, she touched Mr. Sanderson on the shoulder and whispered something to him. What? What? What do you mean? What did she whisper? Oh, man. What do you think Gwyneth Paltrow whispered? After winning this case, right? She's like, oh, okay. She's packing up her things and she's moving and she's, oh, thank you. She's thanking her attorneys, all that stuff. And she's moving down the aisle and here comes the dude. You know, maybe they get to the aisle, maybe they get to the corner of the aisle at the exact same time and one of them must stop. It's like, oh, excuse me. Gwyneth Paltrow touches him on the shoulder, leans in and whispers something. What'd she whisper? Like what? I don't like, not just like precisely what she whispered, like what words, you know, but like, was it, what? Here's what I'm asking. Was it, I'm so sorry we had to go through this. I'm Gwyneth Paltrow, the flower girl who makes pussy candles, and I just like love and happiness, and I don't want to have any problem. Was it that? Was it like something sweet and Gwynethy? Or was it, fuck with the bull, get the horns? You know what I mean? Like, how did Gwyneth, like, what did she whisper? I need to know. I need to talk to this guy. I need to see this guy somewhere. I need him to tell me what she whispered. And these kinds of things drive me crazy, man. These kinds of things, like, I want to know these things. You want to know what still drives me crazy? Do you remember when Melania Trump, there was some big incident, something bad had happened, I don't know, and Melania Trump was getting on an airplane and she was wearing a jacket that had like the saying, something like, I don't care, do you, piss off, you know, it was something, it was like a real provocative saying on the back of the jacket. I still want to know what that's about. Nobody has ever explained adequately what was that about. Come on, Melania. You knew you were poking the bear. You were right. You were. That can't just happen. So I still want to know about that. I want to know what Bill Murray whispered to Scarlett Johansson at the end of Lost in Translation when he just leaned in and he whispered. So I need to know what that was. I didn't sit through. You made me sit through a movie for 2 hours. Half of it's in Japanese. I'm reading half of this movie. And the only thing that happens is at the end where you whisper something. And then you're not even going to tell me what they whisper. What? Some bullshit. That's driven me nuts for about 20 years. And don't even get me started on the missing Malaysian airplane. Yeah, that's, somebody want to please explain that. So all I'm saying is, now, onto that list of things that have haunted me that I just need to know the answer to, we're going to add, what did Gwyneth Paltrow whisper to that guy when she beat him in court? Inquiring minds really, really want to know. All right, guys, that's going to do it. We are out of here today. That's going to end today's High Noon Show. I hope that you are completely briefed up. Typically at this time, what we'd like to do is jump into Twitter and see if there's anything big trending that has happened while we were on the air. Let me see. Bill Clinton is trending. I'm going to ignore that unless he's passed on or something like that, something big. Nope. Okay, no, it's just indict Bill Clinton. Oh, we're doing that? Okay. All right, we're doing it all. There we go. Hey, here's an idea. Here, this would be a good one. Why not tip the show if you're so inclined? Treat this cast the way you'd treat your bartender, God, it's hot. Oh my God, the air conditioning needs... It's March. I shouldn't be worried about the air conditioning in March. God. It's March. It's March and the air conditioning doesn't work and it's becoming a problem. The air conditioning not working shouldn't become a problem until May. You people, tip the show if you want. Again, we're going to be out there at Rollertown tonight. Join us. It's in Selena. We'll be out there after 7 o'clock or so. Hopefully you know what we look like, That's kind of the advantage of doing shows like this now. Find us. Come join us. Come hang out with us. We're bringing our kids. If you got a bunch of little ones, bring them too. We'll have fun. I don't know how late at night it's going to be, but it'd be nice to press the flesh. Say hi. If you're so inclined. All right, guys, we got to go. That's going to do it. Did I mention tip the show? Apparently got an air conditioning bill coming in. I don't have the greed, y'all. Got my kid this weekend. Very excited. I love weekends with my kid. We're going to play baseball. Oh, he's got to bring it back. Okay, bye, everybody. See ya.
Tomorrow is another day. The best is yet to come. I have found a different smile.